seminal experience for you in the sense of getting out there. When you went, how did you get into it? What was the process to get involved in Shark Tank? Was it long, laborious, or was it a quick email?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We knew, obviously, watching the US shows, we did a lot, and I actually really enjoyed it as well. You know, you see some great products out there, and you know, we were blown away after watching the show that there was also 7 series. So we really had to catch up on a lot, but we took down the pros and cons of what the investors were looking for.
Okay.
We also knew that we had to know our numbers. That was another big thing.
So there's a lot of homework you did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. To protection as well, making sure you know, if you went in there, you had, you know, the patent applications in place, the trademarks, the vision. I was lucky enough when I built the beach volleyball centre that I had great advice on building business plans, and I had that business plan structure in place already, and I also always read over my business plans maybe once every 1 to 2 years, but always go back sometimes to just to rekindle the what it's all about. Now I have an information memorandum of 74 pages of bottle pops. It means next level, and you evolve to that level eventually. But some of it's just, you know, anything that comes in your head you write down on what you think is an idea as a business. And so from that that helped a great deal when going into Shark Tank, that we would read over that and add to it and really make sure we'll be able to tell the investors on what we're about and what we're doing. Numbers was another thing. I mean, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm okay with it, with basic numbers, but knowing how to do cash flow, P&Ls, freeway forecasting, assumptions, it was over my head, and I had to learn that. And now, you know, 3 years on from Shark Tank, I feel as if I'm across it a lot, and I had to be. So those sort of things were really important. You know, when you're dealing with shareholders, having reports that they understood. But that whole thing in Shark Tank was really important as well, because you saw that when you pitched that on the American show. If you didn't know your numbers, they went to town on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I wanted to make sure when I went on the show that I was the person that was directed with the numbers. Steve was the salesman guy, and he's awesome at that as well. And we practiced and we pitched to the dog, we pitched to trees, to fences, we got friends, next door neighbours to come into the lounge, we pitched to them, we go, we're going on Shark Tank, and we didn't know that when we went on to the producer side of things that we had 4 producers, and they asked us to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said, we're going to get beers out. I said, you know, we can't do 9 o'clock in the morning. That's not going to work. So we called up the studio and said, look, can we do an afternoon session? We're a bottle opener. And they were like, oh, that's awesome that you've called us up and told us that. And they moved us to the very last session at 4 o'clock. We walked in there with cases of beer and the product all suited up, and we didn't realise that it was just 4 producers just sitting there and 1 advisor, and they were just thirsty. And we just went in there and we just shared beers with them, and they loved it, absolutely loved it. And that one phone call, I think, changed the way I think the product could have come across as well. Friday beers, Friday afternoon beers, it was really good.
Obviously beer in the afternoon helps any business deal, is it?
Absolutely.
Right.
No doubt.
So where to go? Obviously you've set with the producers, and then they've gone, right, you get on that.
Yeah, they said we'll let you know next week, but I did see one of the guys there write down 30 out of 30, so I was like, I'm pretty sure we're in. It was funny, I just saw him do it, and I was like, I hope that's a good thing, but I'm pretty sure it was. And anyway, we got a phone call within 3 days saying that you're on the show and you're filming in a month's time, and we're flying you up to Sydney and X, Y, Z. So we get there at 11 o'clock in the morning, and once again, we told them, can we be last? Not knowing that one of the sharks in particular, Steve Baxter, loves a beer. And so we went on there, and we didn't get on until 6 o'clock, so we were the last ones once again. And of course, once again, it's a hard day, and they start at 7 o'clock in the morning, these guys, and they're in the studio the whole day listening to different entrepreneurs pitch, and it must be pretty full on for them. But also it's exciting as well. And anyway, so that's then the scariest thing. It was funny. Steve and I, being ex-athletes, we're about to walk down the big corridor into the sharks, and you're pumping each other up. It's like we're bumping each other. It's like we're about to walk out to a grand final. It was really funny. And then we get out there and we're thinking that we had to pitch straight away, but no, they tell you to stand on these 2 dots and the cameras, and it's a beautiful studio, and then you stand there for 90 seconds. They don't say a thing. They ready to say action, and you're standing there going, and look at these 5, very, very wealthy people standing in front of you, and you're there 90 seconds just going like this. And it was the most uncomfortable 90 seconds of my life.
The joys of TV, what happens behind the scenes, right?
More nervous with that than I was my wedding. It was really funny. So it was, but then, once because you practice so hard, the pitch came across really well. Yeah. And within 5 minutes, the show doesn't show this, but within 5 minutes, Steve Baxter put an offer in.
Yeah.
He just straight away. And then we had Steve sitting on the far left. Yep. And then we had all the other Sharks pitching. We didn't, to be honest with you, we weren't targeting Steve. We wanted Andrew Banks and Janine Ellis. We thought Janine being in Melbourne was going to be a really good fit for us, and Andrew being based in North America was going to be also extremely important. And so we ignored Steve for 40 minutes while we're pitching to everybody else. And he said, guys, I'm in. What are you pitching to these guys for? And anyway, we got Andrew involved as well, and it was